Hey everybody, we are going to do another example, problem type 3, example number 2. Okay, so we got cosine of 2 inverse cosine of 5v, and we want to rewrite this in just terms of v. So, as we've been doing with all these problems with these inverse functions, we're going to make a substitution. So I'm going to pick x for now, just to show you that we don't always have to use theta. You can use whatever letter you like, as long as we're just making a substitution. That's all it is. So let x equal inverse cosine of 5v. Again, rewriting this using the properties of inverse functions, this means that cosine of x is equal to 5v. Okay, so now I'm going to rewrite this problem that we're doing. And I'll do a different color. So cosine of 2 inverse cosine of 5v is equal to, well, we made a substitution, right? We said that that whole inverse piece, cosine inverse of 5v, is going to be equal to x. So now all we have is cosine of 2x. Well, using our double angle identities, this is equal to cosine squared x minus sine squared x. So, if we look at it this way, we have cosine x, cool, but we're missing sine squared x. Well, we need sine x first, and then you would just square it. So you can definitely go through and build a triangle, but there's actually an easier way to do this problem, and this might only happen with the cosine ones. Because remember, we can rewrite the cosine double angle formula in like 3 different ways. And one of the other ways we could rewrite this is as 2 cosine squared x minus 1. So now I don't have a sine x to worry about. I only have a cosine x, which they give us. Once we made this substitution and we figured out, we know that cosine x is equal to 5v. All right, so we're just going to plug that in. So this is going to be equal to 2. So remember, cosine squared x is basically, it's cosine x, and then you're squaring that. So cosine x is equal to 5v, and then we're going to square that, and then we have minus 1. And then just use simple algebra from here. Make sure you got to square first. So we leave the 2 out front, squaring everything, we get 25v squared minus 1. Now we can multiply. 2 times 25 is 50v squared minus 1. Boom. Dunzo. That is your answer. So, I still want to go back and kind of look at the problem with this formula, cosine squared x minus sine squared x, because fact is, ignore you, go away, notifications. The fact is, there's going to be plenty of other problems where you don't have all the pieces you need and you're going to have to figure them out. So let's just go through that process anyway. So we have cosine of x is equal to 5v here. Remember, that's technically 5v over 1. And cosine is equal to x over r. So we have our x value, we have our r value. X is equal to 5v. Y, we don't know what that is. We're going to figure that out. And then r is equal to 1. So let's plug this stuff into our formula. 5v squared plus y squared is what we're going to be looking for. And that equals 1. We get 25v squared plus y squared equals 1. Solving for y squared, we get y squared is equal to 1 minus 25v squared. Then we got to get y by itself. So we take that square root. We get plus or minus square root of 1 minus 25v squared. Woohoo! Once again, we're going to only be working with that positive one because with these variables, we're living in that first quadrant. All right, so we knew what cosine was. We want to figure out what sine of x would be, and that's y over r. Again, if you wanted to set up a triangle, look at it that way, opposite over hypotenuse, you get the same exact answer, however you want to look at it. So our y in this case was square root of 1 minus 25v squared, all over 1. Okay, so I know we found the answer, but we're going to work with, oops, sorry, kind of cut into the problem there. We're going to work with this one, so let's bring that down. So we're trying to figure out cosine squared x minus sine squared x. And let's see if we get an answer similar to what we have here. So cosine squared x, well, our cosine was 5v. So 5v, and then we got to square that, minus our sine is equal to the square root of 1 minus 25v squared. So square root 1 minus 25v squared, and then we're going to square that. All right. So let's map this out. Square this, we get 25v squared minus, nice, when we square square root, cancel. We're left with what's underneath, but be very careful about parentheses here. I'm going to put parentheses around this, 1 minus 25v squared. You have to put those parentheses because this negative, we're going to have to distribute it to both pieces. So doing that, we get 25v squared minus 1 plus 25v squared, and voila! We, add those terms together, we get 50v squared minus 1, which is exactly what we got, only using the 2 cosine squared x minus 1 formula. But, if you want to take the longer way around just to practice these triangles and the Pythagorean theorem, all that stuff, by all means, you will get the same answer. All right, I hope that helps. If you guys have any more questions about topics, please let me know, and I can make more videos easily on, specific topics or questions that you might have. So have a great day.